Hello everyone and welcome to another discussion video. So earlier this week we received news from KMS about their upcoming winter update, and it's a big one. So this week I wanted to run through what I feel are the main highlights of the update, which GMS will hopefully see at some point in 2021. They've increased the level cap from 275 to 300. Now, back at the end of 2019, I wasn't that big of a fan of them changing the cap from 250 to 275. But while I'm still a little bit surprised at how early they've brought this in, being that there was such a large gap between 250 level cap raise to 275, because I hit 250 back in 2015 and they only raised the level cap to 275 in 2019, and the initial raise to 250 happened in 2013, I think towards the end of 2013 / start of 2014, if I remember correctly. I feel a bit different about the cap raise this time around. I'm all for it because now I can spend a few hours each day grinding meso and EXP at the same time. Because if there's anything I hate, it's grinding meso on a character that's already level capped. I feel like I'm just wasting my time. I know I'm making meso, but at the same time I feel like I'm not achieving anything for the character. Along with the level cap increase, we'll see a reduction in EXP for 210 to 250, but nothing for 250 to 275, which is a thing I find a little bit strange, but maybe they might bring back 2x EXP cards for up to 275s now that it's not the main endgame content, but we'll have to wait and see for that one. As well as that, we'll see a damage cap increase to 150 bill per line, and a max meso limit increase from 30 bill to 100 bill per character, and for storage of course. New areas have been introduced, along with a new symbol system. So with the level cap, we are seeing a level area introduced for 260 and 270. Those being Cernium and Hotel Arcus. With these new areas comes a new symbol under a new system, Authentic Force. Since these two areas do not exist inside Arcane River, and it's in Grandis, it does make sense that they've introduced new symbols, and while I can hear the groans of everyone about having to do even more dailies, this is essentially free stats, so I think it's a good thing that they've introduced it. And it's one of those things where they'll continue to bring these things out with new areas because it's continually time gating things, which I'm not that big of a fan of if you're wanting to paint multiple characters. I might talk about this in a different video, but I'll continue with the introductions of new areas. So in Monster Park, we'll also see a new area. So at the moment they've got Vanishing Journey and Choo Choo Island as the Arcane River areas in there. They're adding Latch, so it just means more EXP, probably just a slight increase I'd say, and it's a good thing because like I did find when I was training the Corsair, I did get a lot of EXP from doing Monster Park in the I think 210s I think it was. I was getting a fair amount where I was really doing runs on that to get EXP and I wasn't really even properly training it yet. So I think that's a good thing for them to introduce it. I'd love to see them introduce them a bit faster as well. Even like as you unlock those areas in Arcane River, you unlock those areas in Monster Park, which would make sense. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if they choose to introduce any more of them. So we're also receiving a new Nova region class, which will be an archer called Kane. I don't know that much about archers, and I don't really know what makes them good or bad, but if it's anything like Pathfinder, and people have drawn some comparisons to it, it's bound to be good. I'll be making one regardless for the Dex character card piece for the Legion board, but yeah, it's cool to see Nova getting more classes. They haven't really been getting as much attention as other areas have been. It's always a positive thing, yeah, for more classes to come into the game. Now this next change is something that I view as something that's really positive for anyone who's still training Legion mules. They are updating the boss queue system so that you no longer require a second person to be transported to bosses. This would have been an amazing thing for me when I was still working on the majority of my characters, because I tended to focus on the whole Explorer class, which had access to a Perma Hypertele Rock. Other ones I had to get a second character to drag it along to Hauntel and Zachem, and it was time consuming. So I think it's good that now you can just immediately choose to transport to those bosses without having to rely on anyone else being around, especially if you're on a dead server. Another thing they're also changing, which I've sort of coupled together with this, is they're removing EXP loss when your character dies, and instead they'll be implementing an EXP and drop rate reduction buff for a certain period of time. Safety charms will still be in effect, so I was a bit concerned because I do have a perma safety charm on my Xenon, and I was worried that that would be useless now, but apparently that safety charm will remove that drop rate and EXP reduction effect after death. So it's a good change. It's a bit scary, especially when you're getting like 1% an hour. To think about, even if I didn't have my safety charm on, I'd lose probably about 10%, which is roughly about 10 hours worth of work. So it makes sense, and then you can just go off and just AFK while that reduction disappears. So you don't really even have to worry about safety charms if you're not looking to just keep pushing through stuff. And finally, it looks like in this update we'll be receiving another round of Terror Burning and Burning World events. It's always good to see these ones coming back. We do have one on at the moment, of course. We're in part 1 of 2. Part 2 starting on the 23rd of December. But yeah, so there'll be more coming up, and it's always a good way to increase your Legion level and make any link skill characters that you may still require. So that's it from me today. I want to make a special mention and thanks to Orange Mushroom for providing all the in-depth insight into what's coming in the future. KMS looks to be receiving these updates over the next few weeks through December 2020 and into January 2021. Hopefully it won't be too far away for us. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.